Hello and welcome, friends. Welcome to another episode where I share with you my Romanian fountain pens collection. This time, I will talk with you about an interesting model made by Flamura Roșie, from Romania CBU in the 1970s. And let's start with the classic one. You can find them in the market, but they usually appear in this black plastic. So we have here Flaro and Record, as you can see. Let's leave this here. I have another one also with Flaro Record, as you can see. Let me give you a little zoom. So another one Flaro Record, but this one lacks its clip. And I have a rarer one. It comes in this, let's say, light blue or turquoise color, Flaro Record. And also it has a little problem at the end of the cap, in the sense that it lacks this little jewel which is present on the black one. And I suppose that the jewel, which you can see, you can screw it on. It's similar like the jewel you see on the model Parker 51. It was in the same color, the turquoise color, as the fountain pen. In fact, you can see on this one, it is strangely put together. It's screwed on one part and on the other is misaligned or something like this. So guys, if you don't mind, I will use this black one to show you the elements, and after that I will show you the other models. You can see a black plastic injected one. It has these nickel plated metallic trims. The cap ends in this, oh sorry, oh, I have a little bit of problem trying to, I'm not so sure. This had a screwed in cap. Oh yes, it has a screwed in cap. Sorry guys, sometimes I forget what models have the pressure fit cap and what models have the screwed in cap, so I will put it like this. Well, I was talking about the end of the cap, this metallic ring, quite nice. Let me zoom a little bit on it, because it is affected in time. It was affected in time, so this nickel plating is affected in time. The clip looks quite interesting with those lines. It gives a nice aspect on, let me see, an art deco aspect, yes. The clip is metallic, you can bend it quite easy, so it's quite functional. It ends, like I told you, in that jewel, slightly conic jewel. And again, it screws on to the main body. And now let's look at the body of the fountain pen. It's quite nice. We have a transparent ink window. And if we unscrew the barrel, we can see the filling mechanism. So this is quite strange for you guys. If you are familiar with the aerometric filling mechanism from the Parker 51, you might understand the principle of this filling mechanism. So you have to immerse it in ink and simply push on this silicone sac, and this creates a little vacuum, and you can see inside that tube, the transparent tube, yes, it draws the ink from the ink bottle. So quite an interesting system. Now guys, let's look at the quite narrower grip section, and I want to show you the nib. This is an original Flaro nib. Unfortunately, it has faded away its imprints, but it's a simple steel nib, and on the back we have a rather crude ebonite feed. So I've finished with this model. I will leave it aside. And now, guys, let me turn your attention on this other black one. So it definitely lacks the end of the cap. The cap unscrews, but it has the same problem as the other one. So this is the cap. Let me show you the nib on this one. Well, the nib on this one is different from the other one. It's the familiar bear on two legs. If you watch my videos, you know that some Flaro products are fitted with East German nibs. Iridium on it, so this is an East German nib. It is a steel nib, gold plated, and look at the beautiful plating. It stood the test of time. On the back we have the same crude ebonite feed and the same filling mechanism with this little sac at the end. This time a larger tube inside of it, because it creates pressure here and it needs to draw the ink from there. I can hardly wait to test them all, because I think I will fill them all with ink. Now let's turn our attention to the last model. Let me give you a little zoom. It has this time a rather different clip from the first one. It likes that jewel, that conning jewel at the top of the cap. Now let's see, you can see the ring is quite crowded. Now let's see the nib, because I'm quite curious. Iridium, only iridium. This is strange, guys, because this nib is quite inside of the grip section. So in my opinion, I think it should be much more elongated, but it is what it is. I'm quite curious to see how it writes. I believe that this is also a steel nib. I'm not so sure if it's a Flaro nib or a German nib, but this is a steel nib with a nice gold plating. At the back, the same crude feed, ebonite feed. And let's see how this, whoa. And you can see, guys, an even longer inner tube. So the tube finishes in the sac. So I think this will be quite easy to fill. Those are the fountain pens, guys. I will compare them with a popular model that I have on my desk. And I'm talking about the modern Montblanc Meisterstück 146. And the Montblanc Meisterstück 146, guys, is a model that all the fountain pens collectors should have in their collection. I think the 149 is overrated. If you want a real proper writing instrument that can help you in every situation, not only when you need to sign documents, but also when you need to write longer sessions with it, go for a 146 and you will thank me later. So this is the 146, guys. I'm sorry about the promotion of this beautiful piece. Of course, this is not a new model. It's a model from the 1980s and it was intended for the French market. It has an 18-karat gold nib. As you can see the difference between them, those are slightly smaller and definitely narrower. The Flaro Records are in trend with the tendencies of the fountain pen market in the 70s and in the 80s. And the tendency was slimmer fountain pens, but also cheaper fountain pens, because the ballpoint competition was quite intense. You could buy a ballpoint pen for next to nothing. And of course, the fountain pens were quite expensive. So in the 1970s and in the 1980s, there was a tendency to produce fountain pens as cheap as they could produce them. But this wasn't a wise decision. And thank God there were producers like Montblanc that realized the potential of being a luxury product, a simple fountain pen being a luxury product, and they invested a lot in bringing back the Meisterstück for the classes, the 146. The 149, it seems expensive and big, but of course, this is the jealous man in me talking. Well, guys, believe it or not, I have hundreds of fountain pens, but I still don't have the Montblanc Meisterstück 149 and the Pelikan M1000, but I will get them as soon as I can. So returning to our Romanian-made fountain pens in the communist period, I will leave their dimensions on the screen, and after that I will do the writing sample. So for the writing sample, I have here a royal blue ink, and I will use it to show you how nice these fountain pens can be filled. I hope that the system works on every one of them. So I will start with the toughest to fill, in my opinion. And why is that, guys? So let me zoom on it again, because I want to show you why is that. You can see this inner tube. So this inner tube on the other models are till this level, and on the blue one it enters this silicone sac. And in a way, yes, I can see that, because you may pressure with your fingers on this side, and the pressure and this tube that extracts the ink from the bottle should be as closely as the source of vacuum. So we will see about that. Of course, I will change the angle of the camera because I want you to see better this procedure. And of course, I want you to see better the writing samples. So let me see, guys. Okay, this should be good. Yes. Okay, let me put the other ones on the side. I will open the Montblanc Royal Blue ink. Let me give it a little shake before I do that. Okay. Gently, gently, gently. And now, guys, let me find a way to show you. So maybe, yes, like this. So concentrate on this part, guys. I'm immersing the fountain pen in ink, and now I am pushing on this silicone. And you can see the ink is being drawn. Let me zoom on it, guys. So you can see that tube, and it has ink in it. You can see it. Let me show you now. You can see the ink, yes, and it drew a little bit of ink. Now the ink is, let me see, it's in here. So this is sufficient for the writing sample, and I'm glad that I've managed to show you how the ink is being drawn. Let me see if I have a little tissue. Yes, I have a little tissue. I will simply clean it and put it back. You can see already the ink on the ink window. Let me put it here. Now let me show you the second one. So this, you can see it has a longer filling tube, inner filling tube. So again, I'm immersing it, and just concentrate, guys, on this part, because the ink should be drawn on that part. Let me see. You already saw the ink, yes? And yes, we have some little ink. You can see here. Well, I'm not so sure if it's sufficient, but I hope it will be. I have to tell you, I like this filling mechanism, but I'm not so sure about this sac. How long does it last till it needs to be replaced? Okay, let's put this aside. And now, guys, the last of our Flaro Record fountain pens, but this time this is fitted with a longer inner tube, and you can see the tube is till the level of this one. This should feel quite easy. Let me see. No, I believe no. But it feels through this part is strange because that pump didn't deliver the ink through this inner tube, but instead it felt with ink this reservoir. So we will see how it performs. Why not? Let me start with this one. Always, guys, put back the cap after you are finished with the ink bottle to avoid messy accidents. I will put this here. So, okay, let me change, yes, the angle. And now I hope I will give you a little nice zoom on it. Yes, guys, so this is a Flaro Record. Okay, from the 1970s. It was made in Romania, This particular model is the blue model. It is made out of plastic. It has a steel nib, gold plated. In my opinion, it is an F nib, F for fine. It writes quite smooth. Let me zoom out for a little bit. Yes, I want you to see the Flexi Test. So, unfortunately, no flex. Now let me show you the wetness test. You can see quite a nice little juicy nib. A medium juice, I would say, not overrated or something like that. Let me do the pressure test. So here, no pressure. It simply works just fine. And here, a little bit of pressure. So no line variance. Now, guys, let me see how we can reverse write with it. If we can reverse writing. Well, I'm quite divided. It is an yes, but in the same time a no. If this is an F, this should be an extra fine nib. You can see definitely a possibility, but the ink flow isn't quite consistent. It doesn't scratch, so I tend to leave it as a yes. So reverse writing, guys. Now let me see how I can do a signature with it. Yes, quite nice. And now let me tell you about the quick brown fox jumps over the the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Let me show you in perspective the writing sample done with this blue one. What can I tell you? Quite a smooth writer. I simply love this nib, although I thought it is quite inside of the grip section and it will be a problem for the writing sample. No, it performs wonderfully. So, guys, this was the blue one. Okay. Let me put it here. This is the blue one. And now let's take the black one without the jewel. Remember guys, this is, sorry, it has a little problem. Every time I open it, it tends to open this part. And by the way guys, this part is fitted here, so it's quite strange. We don't have the rings here, but we have the rings at the back. Strange mechanism. So guys, remember, this is East German nib. I'm quite curious to see how it performs. Okay, now let me put, by the way guys, all the caps can be posted, but I don't recommend you posting them. It is plastic and in time it will develop micro scratches. Okay, let me put the cap here and let's give it a little zoom here. Okay guys, so this is a Flaro. Let me take this out of the picture. Let me put it like here. So this is a Flaro Record, also from the 1970s, made in Romania. This is the black colored one. We have a steel nib, a gold plated steel nib, gold plated. This steel nib was made in DDR, Deutsches Democratic Republic, or East Germany. Guys, this nib scratches a little bit. I should call it a fine like the other one, but it scratches a little bit. Let me do for you the no flex, but it has a little feeling, a nice feeling when you do that lines. Okay, let me do the juicy test here. It appears to be quite a juicy nib, yes, like the other one. Okay, let me show you. So no pressure on the lines, and now pressure. No line variance, no line variance. If I try to do a signature with it, quite nice, I like it. And yes, let me see about the reverse writing. So reverse writing, and I should say this is definitely a no, because it scratches a lot. Now guys, let me tell you about the quick brown fox, and I will write it down right beneath the other sample. So the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. So definitely guys, we see a little bit of problem with this East German nib. I was expecting it to write better, but it scratches a little bit, not too much. It's not annoying, it does the right job. But the most annoying part is, look at the lazy dog. So this, at the last part of the sentence, it lacks the ink flow. So this is a bad thing. Not an annoying thing, but a bad thing in my book. And now let us move on to the last Flaro. And yes, this is fitted with a Flaro nib, and although you can't see it, I see the logo there. It is quite faded away, but this is a Flaro nib. You can see without gold plating. Maybe it was gold plated when it was new, but In time, the plating has gone away, and even the engravings on the nib have gone away. Okay, let me see about this. I think this is good. Let me leave some part for the quick brown fox, and I will write over here. So here I have a Flaro. Whoa, guys, quite nice ink flow. Flaro Record. Well, I think, guys, this is my favorite nib. The ugly ducking that, okay, this is strange, but it happens. Made in Germany. So I guess you shouldn't judge a book by its covers. And this is the fact right here. Also a black colored one. A steel nib. This time no gold plating. But this is a Flaro nib. A Flaro nib. And judging by the way it writes, I think this is an M for a medium. Okay. Let me show you some line variants if we have some. Whoa, this is a smooth nib, guys. No flex, but a wonderful nib. As you probably can see, this is a juicy nib, just the way I like it. So in comparison with the other ones, this is a wet nib. Okay, let me show you the... So here, no pressure, and here a little bit of pressure. No line variance, at least not a visible one. I think this wet thing is a joy to do signatures with, and yes, I was right. And let me see if I can reverse write with it. And yes, reverse writing. This is definitely a yes. And if we have an M nib, it writes here like a fine. Okay, guys, now I'm ready for the famous quick. So the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. So you can see the difference between them, although this is an M1 and it has a better flow of ink. This, I can tell you guys, is one of my favorite inks. I don't like dry nibs, and I simply like a big juicy line on the paper. Of course, some of you might prefer the F1, no problem, it performs quite nice, but I prefer the brother lines and the juicy nibs. Thank you guys for your time. This was my presentation of the Flaro Record. This is another nice example made by the Romanian fountain pen communist industry. These examples, I think they were meant for the interior market. They only exported the better versions, but they are still quite nice instruments. They don't compare with the German ones, and the filling mechanism is, let's say, strange in comparison with a German piston filler. But I have to tell you that I love these Flaro records, and it is a proud to have them in my collection. Thank you guys for your time. If you've enjoyed this review, please subscribe to my channel to help me grow and to support my activity. I want to wish you to have a nice day wherever you are. Please take care of yourself in this pandemic time. I will see you again at the next episode. Till then, bye bye guys, and God bless.